Hi, Halbert here again with the UBtheNEWS project, independent project by your rancher book enthusiasts like me. So this is my third time around doing educational presentations as of late, and I'm feeling kind of busted in several different ways. I think I figured out why 3 is a charm. I'm thinking it has to do with because after people screw things up twice, they figure out through humility to get a little more charming about what they're doing, and then they have more success. That's my new working theory. I came up with this all by myself because with the first video, I just thought to myself, well, it's an educational video. Try to be really insightful about a real serious issue and contribute thoughts that are very original. So that's what I did, or thought I did, and at any rate, the results were mixed. I think about a third of the people really liked it, about a third of the people were kind of were wondering a bit and maybe somewhat concerned, and about a third were like, not into Halbert's brilliant insight. That doesn't mean I'm willing, I got to shy away from that, but it was maybe also a rough way to get started. So second time around, stick with the brilliant insight stuff, but try to be maybe a little more pleasant and easier to get along with. So I thought, music. Try to say something insightful about music and open up conversation that way, which I did. Posted it, woke up the next morning, reflected, busted, because I realized I did an educational presentation related to music and didn't play a single note of music. And I got some blowback from it. The shofar blower got some blowback for not being musical in his musical education video. And he has the guitar here and the shofar is there. And what's up? It's very peculiar to me, but I think there's insightful things we can get from this about just why it is that I'm actually much more comfortable to go wandering around outside with a shofar, blowing it, telling people Melchizedek's coming, kingdom of God's at hand, whatever, than I am to sing a little song, play some music. We got to ask ourselves, what's up with that? What is up with that? That's pretty strange. So, trying to have some breakthroughs around these types of issues, and so you are going to get some music, of course, and in order to provide you the music, I need to create a little bit of context. So, pardon me while I screw around with the technology here. This is part of the issue, is the technology. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm not used to it, and this whole business of being in front of a camera on my computer screen, usually I do academic work here, type away, read stuff. I don't need to perform in front of my computer screen, and I just got to tell you that right there, for starters, is not making me comfortable. So that's part of what's going on, and so one of the things related to music that I had to reflect on is I realized that I hadn't put any music in the music video. Music is about honesty, and it occurred to me maybe I haven't been entirely honest enough, myself and others, about something. Maybe if I could get in touch with the honesty, that would be a gateway to the music. So, regarding that honesty issue, I want to add just a little bit of honesty and a little bit of music to this video, not too much. Got to save room for more later. Be progressive and build on this, right? Wouldn't want your expectations to be too high. I'm thinking maybe they aren't already. Don't let me and music be any kind of an excuse to raise your expectations. Let's just start with that. And that's honesty issue number one. Regarding being a seer and having, that sort of mystical relationship to life, when I've been doing these study aid efforts on the saints, prophets, seers, and heralds, I've been saying, I'm not like into the seer thing. I don't have visions, and I don't get my information that way. It's not how I operate. I try to just be logical and value oriented and like this. But perhaps I should share, and it's worth mentioning, that recently, three little birds were on my doorstep. They were singing sweet songs, and yes, the melodies were pure and true. It's a beautiful thing. Saying, "This is my message to you." And then one of them stepped forward from the other two and said, "Halbert, this is the message to you." Now, normally, heaven's a very cooperative environment and not overly competitive and such like that. But, after you pass on, there are these different levels of attainment that you still have to go through. And apparently they think since this world's so screwed up anyways, and they're willing to try most anything to get people to move along with the spiritual process, they started a contest in heaven. And the way it works is whoever writes the best parody song about themselves gets to skip a level when they get to heaven. So I'm thinking, right, you can't be serious. And then one of the other little birds steps forward and says, "Tweet, tweet, 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 tweet." And I'm like, I don't tweet. What does this add to the conversation? And then they flew off. And I'm thinking, what if they're right? What if they're correct? Maybe I better get on it. So I got on it, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you. As I said, keep your expectations low. The song isn't even really finished. I don't even hardly know it myself yet. I just share a couple verses, and then I'm off the hook. And then I can go on to my more intellectual part of the presentation where I'm more comfortable. And you see how this works. Okay, so perhaps you already know where this is going. If not, allow me to entertain you with some music. He's a real shofar man, living like an American, making all his shofar plans for nobody. Doesn't have your point of view, knows not if his own is true. Isn't he a bit like you and me? Shofar man, he's blowing. We don't know what he's knowing. Shofar man, the world laughs at your command. Now see, here you might get the lead break if you had a talented musician, which gets us right to the heart of what I wanted to talk to you about today. Because leadership is a crucial part of civilization. And if we take a look at leadership in areas of spirituality, in mentality, and physicality, maybe we start to do a little better with some of the problems we're having. So I put together a few notes on this, and I like to share some ideas, and maybe you get something out of it. Because I'm thinking about how life is learning about how to cooperate and to compete in ways that we agree upon in order to get along. This creates the balance between being of service and serving oneself. Now, cooperation focuses on bringing the best out in others. That's what service is. And when you have music and there's no audience, cooperation looks a certain way. And this is one of the things I want to emphasize, is that, leadership works effectively within context, and it works effectively within a balance of considerations, and leadership brings wisdom to the whole cooperate, compete aspects of life. So to hone in on those ideas just a little bit more about leadership and how it relates to music and mind and physicality, consider how different musicianship is from having any talent. So I have limited talent, but I found a fun way to use some music so that it worked. And that kind of cuts right to the heart of the issue. That's how I can provide a little bit of leadership even though I'm lacking talent. Because generally speaking, it's this combination of the spirit quality, the goodness quality, plus the talent that makes for good leadership. And oftentimes we get ourselves in trouble socially, I think, because we have a hard time figuring out how to balance these competing considerations, and we get a little ego involved. People overplay whatever side of that equation they might be on, being more talented versus being more sociable, with their skills, social skills and interpersonal skills. So on the mind level, we might think about this in terms of statesmanship and wisdom. Statesmanship is like that quality of being able to communicate effectively with people in groups and getting them to agree on things and work effectively and be harmonious that way. A person can be good at that and not actually have much wisdom at all or creativity about how to solve problems. Those things are distinct. If someone's got both, this is great. This is going to make for good leadership. On the physical level, we've got things, sportsmanship versus talent. And a good leader in a sport has a powerful combination of both of these things. It's not even necessary sometimes to have the physicality. Coach, if a coach is a great sportsman and has a talent for the game, can be an effective leader that way. So music is just like totally creative by its nature. There are quantitative measures, but they obviously come in a more kind of secondary way. We don't think about music as something to, battle it out with right away. With physicality, dog eat dog world, this stuff comes up all the time. With intellect, people compete that way, of course, all the time for dominance. But with music, it really sets us up to value cooperation first. So when we think about education and think about we need to bring education to the realm of spirit, mind, and matter, separate from how much time or money we spend on these things, and that whole issue of trying to bring some balance to it on that level. In terms of prioritization, it's music that really is the starting point and helps us to do those other things, to have the wisdom to interact intellectually, and to have the sportsmanship or a sense of fairness, to compete with people. Let's consider, first of all, just how music cuts through all the differences in life so quickly. Musical talent can be developed early in life. It allows the young to communicate and interact beautifully with the old, and it cuts across male or female or race or ethnicity, all of it. Music is just beautiful and bold that way. And so when we learn to be literate with music and engage ourselves in those activities that are associated with music, right from the get-go, it allows us to engage a process of socialization that is much like richer and fuller than what goes on in the intellectual realm or the physical realm. I could tease this out some more. I could go on some more, but I'm feeling like I want to quit right now, probably, and then just get back to more of this later. So thanks for listening. I guess I owe you just a little more music, don't I? You're probably wondering what this thing sounds like. Let me help you out with that. Can I get it in the camera? That's pretty loud indoors. Hope you're having a great day. I hope that last scream on the horn didn't blow out your speakers or something. Do I have to edit that stuff out? I don't know. I haven't blown a shofar on an educational video before. I'm so new at this, but nonetheless, here we are. Kingdom of God's at hand. It's true.